How much can you improve your accuracy and power with just 30 minutes of practice a day for 30 days? The importance of being able to shoot the ball accurately and with power in Rocket League can't be overstated. This skill can be the difference between a win and a loss in every playlist. If I'm going to reach my goal of Grand Champ in threes this season, I need to take the time to focus on fine-tuning my touch and be more of a threat offensively. With that, welcome to the second edition of 30 for 30, this time grinding aim training by Coco for 30 minutes for 30 days. Stick around to the end of the video to find out what I would have done differently if I were to do this challenge again. And I also looked at different factors like the time of day that I completed the challenge and what impact gaps between training days had, and found some interesting results. This map has several different mods to change the difficulty, like randomizing how the ball drops, your distance from the wall, and the size of the target. For my 30-day challenge, I stuck with the normal mode where the ball drops and wall distances don't change, but the target moves with every made shot. Let me start out by saying this challenge was brutal. Kind of like playing against Nexto bots in Rank 2s. When I worked on Air Roll Right in the first installment of this series, the progress was very gradual with increasingly difficult levels that kept the challenge interesting and engaging. With aim training, on the other hand, you see a green square, you hit the green square with a ball. If you hit it, a new green square appears in a different spot on the red wall. If you miss it, it doesn't move until you hit it. The map tracks your streaks of how many green squares you hit in a row, which is what I used to track my progress throughout the 30 days. Pretty straightforward. And that's the hardest part. The simplicity of the exercise wears you down after doing it for 30 minutes for 30 days. It's so mundane, repetitive, and at times very frustrating. When the target is wide and high, sometimes it took several attempts to hit it, and it felt like it should have been easier than it was. My biggest mistake with this exercise was that my focus was more on topping my personal best streak and not on hitting the ball with the front corner of my car for a power shot. So while my accuracy improved somewhat, my technique still leaves a lot to be desired. The only metric we have to measure any progress was the streaks of consecutively hit targets. On day 1, my best was 8 in a row. There were a lot of good days and some bad days, but an upward trend that ended with me breaking 20 straight shots on 3 different days. One issue with trying to measure my progress over time is that the targets were random and would sometimes spawn pretty straight on and on the ground, occasionally on back-to-back shots, making it easier to extend a streak. So the streak for each day may not be a completely accurate representation of my improvement. However, whenever the target appeared dead center on the ground, I called it the uninstall if I miss shot because you should never miss this shot, but that didn't stop me from doing this while I was streaming. Uninstall if I miss. No, I can't play Rocket League ever again! We didn't see that, right? We're gonna say that didn't happen. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I usually took the 30 minutes for this exercise early in the morning as soon as I woke up, but I found that when I did the challenge a little later in the day with food in my stomach and some caffeine in my veins, I was able to get cleaner shots and higher streaks. When I looked at the data to see if this feeling was backed up by the stats, I found that, on average, my streaks were 3 shots lower when I practiced in the early morning than when I did it in the late morning or afternoon. This kind of sucks because the early morning is the best time of day for me to do these challenges because of my schedule, so I may have to rethink this to be more effective. So, after 30 days of 30 minutes of aim training, am I any better? Well, if we take a look at the one data point we have of the longest streak achieved per day, we see a rocky but upward trend throughout the challenge. If we take the highest streak from each day and look at the 5-day average, starting from days 1 through 5 and ending with days 26 through 30, we see an early spike of 12.6, followed by a slow and steady upward trajectory towards 14, which was the highest 5-day average during the exercise. Now, another potential factor that should be considered is the gaps between the days of training. These happened because this challenge overlapped with the holidays and my schedule was a bit out of whack. These are where the gaps in training happened and how many full days there were between sessions. What was interesting here is that on the day after those gaps, my highest streak was, on average, 2.4 shots less than the previous day. On days that I trained when I didn't have a gap between my previous session, I averaged 0.6 shots better than the day before. This shows me that if I want to improve, I need to be consistent, which is great, especially when I think about my ability, or lack thereof, to use air roll left and how I haven't touched a rings map since I wrapped up that challenge. Awesome. So, in conclusion, have I noticed a difference in my gameplay as a result of this exercise? Sometimes I think so, and other times I feel like it's made no difference. When I do feel like my accuracy has improved, I then go on to have matches like this one where I had 8 shots in an overtime match with a final score of 2-1. So in a similar fashion to air roll training, 30 minutes a day for 30 days is enough for slight comfortability and at least a foundation to build upon, but there is plenty of room for more improvement and a long way away from mastery. And again, there is something to be said about how you train something as opposed to the amount of time you spend doing it. So what would I have done differently with this challenge? Well, I would have focused more on the quality of the shots, specifically power shots, where you position the corner of your card to make contact with the ball to get that extra oomph. And once I felt more comfortable and consistent with that, I would add the random distances from the wall and ball bounces to really make myself work to get the right shot off. My streaks may not have been nearly what they were in the end, but I think I'd have stronger shots developed by now. This map gets you fast reps and adjustable difficulty, and I would highly recommend you check it out if you want to improve your power and accuracy. Sorry, console users. Hey, you still and will always have training packs. So tell me, how's your training going? Are you working on your accuracy and power? Let me know about your progress in the comments, and let's get better together. Well, if you made it this far and enjoyed this video, check out the first installment of the series where I try to teach myself how to use directional air roll. If you missed it, here's the video explaining my goals for Season 9, including reaching Grand Champ. There's plenty more where this came from, so if you want to join in the journey and progress together, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm Dooner, and I still suck at Rocket League. Thanks for watching.